doing good. We're gonna do a little bit different today. We're going to play Fallout 4 and talk about Fallout 76. So I hope this is fun for y'all. Hope to get some streamers. Stick around. Check out my YouTube channel, joeKEE512. That's joeKEE512. I have a Twitter and Facebook account as well. They're not very active yet because I haven't really evolved into all that yet, so I'm still learning how to do all that. I did get a hold of the beta Xbox One last night. I have to say it was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting it. It was intense because I only got 4 hours and I was running through like crazy trying to do as much as I could in 4 hours. And you know, if you've played Fallout before, you definitely know it's hard to do anything in 4 hours in the Fallout series or game. But I did get to experience the game, had a lot of fun. There were a lot of people that were joining. You know, when I left the vault, there was I think 4 people sitting outside. There was 1 or 2 inside that came out with me. There is last night at my time, is Central Standard Time. It was from 6 to 10 p.m. I got to play, and on Saturday they're opening another beta window. Excuse me, sorry. They're opening another beta window from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sunday they'll have another beta window from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope y'all like it. It's if you got to experience it, man, it was fun. I'd like to talk about the pre-order that I made was for the Tricentennial Edition. Great game. I'm sorry, great features. I'm hoping a lot of it seems like it's not available to really get into the game. Some of it's for the power armor. Some of it's for the like the picture that you take of yourself. It's a frame. You get a workshop poster for your workshop. You can hang a poster up. And they have like celebratory vault boy saluting emote where they have emotes in the game. You can do like love, yes, no. You can grief. I mean, you can do I don't know, probably about 10, maybe 20 emotes you can do. There's a wheel that you use that kind of like this that you use in the game, but it's not really. I don't like if you press up on your D-pad on the Xbox, it'll bring up the your action menu, which has this in it. Well, then if you press, I believe it's either down or left or right. I think it's down. You get your emotes, and with the emotes, you can do them, and it puts a little icon above your head. Like if you do a thumbs up, it'll put a thumbs up above your head. If you do a thumbs down, it'll do a thumbs down. You can do like a heart, and he puts his hands up like this and does a heart, saying "I love you," and just a few different things like that. There's a lot about the game I really had a lot of fun with. It was very confusing because there's a lot of new features in it. There's the health meter and radiation affects it. Radiation, as you can get now from anything you eat, pretty much. There's some things you can drink to give you health, but they don't fill your water or your food bar. Your food bar comes from, you can either eat stuff that you pick up.
When you
turn this down.
Inevitably, that's when
you can eat stuff that you pick up, but the problem with that is when you pick it up, it can have diseases in it. So if you eat it, you get a disease, and you have a rare type of chem you can use. You hit it, and it relieves all your diseases, all your chem effects. Like when you get addicted to chems, it relieves all that. But like I said, it's hard to make, hard to find. I was fortunate to get one at the beginning when I looted through the vault. When you first come out, you're in this room. The room, you can turn a shower on, you can flush the toilet, it was kind of funny. I stood in the water, watched the toilet flush. There's a couple other things you can do in the room. You leave the room, you go out into like this party area where they had a big party. And then from the party area, you start going down this channeled hallway. And as you go down this channeled hallway, you basically you get to these tables, and there's a Mr. Handy next to each one, and explains what it's for. And you get like a blood pack and a stim pack, or you'll get a your called your camp. That's where you lay this box down. It has this big green globe around it, and then from there you hit the button. It builds your base camp out, and then you can pick that base camp up, take it anywhere you want with you, which is pretty neat. But throughout playing the game, I tried 2 different times to put the camp down. Couldn't find a spot for it, so I went and to one area. It was red everywhere. I went into another area. It looks like it has to go on concrete maybe, because the ground that was grass, I couldn't put it down anywhere. When I did put it down on concrete, there were buildings nearby, so it wouldn't let me place it there. So, but with all the stuff that was going on, I just stopped it. The game is in West Virginia. It's the first online series in the Fallout, genre or franchise, whatever you want to call it. You, if you're on Xbox, you get to play beta a few times this week before PC and PS4 does. There's the one thing I found interesting is it keeps saying throughout the web that on November 14th they're going to release the game, officially out of beta. By the way, cool thing, your beta access, when you play, what you do in the game carries over to the final release. So like old betas where you get in there, you play and do stuff in the game, and as you're playing, the beta ends, everything's erased, you go back in, you're done. Well, not in this one. This one you get to carry your beta stuff over with you, which I thought was pretty cool. And the thing about the vault is when I first came in, you want to explore it. You want to pretty much find everything you can in there. You want to kind of, I believe there's some holotapes in there you can listen to them. They'll definitely help you out. They'll be very helpful. You have within there, you like holotapes. There's purified water you get. There's your first set of perk cards, which we'll talk about later. Yeah, there's a perk system and perk cards now. And then you have like a camp, like I was saying earlier. And there's other useful items in there you get, which is pretty neat to watch as you walk through. And then all of a sudden you hit the exit of the vault. And which is interesting inside let me back up a little bit. When you get inside the room that you first start off in is actually like a little home or a little house, bedroom, bathroom, living room, pretty simple. But before you walk out, you get your Pip-Boy. You don't get it right when you go to...
I don't know if even a scat would take that.
You don't get your Pip-Boy at the end when you go to open the door, like you do in Fallout 4. But then so let's go back. You go to exit the vault. As you exit the vault, you get this kind of real bright white light. It does a loading. From the loading, you go into. Wait a minute, I'm going backwards here. Hard to play and talk. But as you go to the loading screen, you end up outside, and you end up with this neat little picture in front of you. From there, you have some options. You'll see Mr. Gusty, which is one of the handymans. As you go down a little bit, you'll see Mr. Gusty, and he'll give you this, I believe, a holotape or instructions to go find the Overseer, which one of the holotapes you find in there is the Overseer's holotape that leads you to Mr. Gusty, and then you end up going down this long road. As you go down this long road, you see a bunch of houses on the side. You can loot those, which is a good idea to do, by the way, because if you don't, you end up punching everything along the way. I actually found a machete. That was pretty cool. So I was able to use a machete. Did 18 damage, better than your fists. And then from there, I went to down the hill. I went down this kind of dirt road area. I went to this road. After I went down the road, I came to a little campsite. Go in there and you can loot inside the campsite. Whoa, don't fall, no. Oof, that was close. Dang it. Starting back over here. Anyways, went down the road a little ways, and you end up at this kind of like a mid-base camp. You have the Overseer's luggage. You get the loot out of there. Yes, we're giving some spoilers here, sorry. But you have the Overseer's luggage. You get the loot. It's kind of like her stash. You get to loot the stash. After you loot the stash, you turn around, you have your own stash. Stashes in the game are usually within town areas. From there, you can go to There's a weapon making station, there's a armor station, and I believe a chem station. But your stash itself, you can store your stuff in. You can still hit Y on the keys, and you'll dump all your junk. From there, you can go into. I guess I gotta go up the elevator. From there, you can go to. Yeah, coming. Okay. From there, you can go into your questing area. One of your quests is to make a weapon. Another one's to make a piece of armor. Ooh. You talk too much, buddy. So from there you get to do your questing, you get your first line. You pick up a holotape out of the overseer's stash. From there your overseer comes along and says some information on the holotape, which leads you to the next location, which is kind of like the first area where you get a bunch of side quests. You see an event. And in the event you do different things like the event I saw was there was a bunch of robotic handymans, and you had to take them out. They were what they call farm hands. After you take them out, you got to go program a computer. The computer basically goes and nice. The computer basically goes and redirects all the farm hands to not be hacked anymore, and you get to complete the event. You get some caps, you get some experience, and then after the experience, you get like a section of
bobby pins.
Really? Could have swore I had bobby pins. Man, oh well. Then you go to there we go. Then you go to the event, get you some goodies. There's some other side quests you can do there. You find a good slew of people that you have to go around and find in different areas, do different things for them, stuff like that. Then after that, you go pretty much to start questing. You'll find the Overseer's holotape there as well. From that Overseer's holotape, ooh, hey, how you doing? Another one over here. Hey, stop shooting me. Where is it? Oh wow, you're down there. So from there you get another option to go up to this other area. From that area you go to, what's that on the back? It's like a piece of metal.
No bobby pins.
Yeah, I know. So anyways, from there you get to go up to this other area where they have another quest where you have to get these canisters, take these canisters and put them in the loader, run the machines, and then you have wave of ghouls that come after you. And as the ghouls are coming, as long as you can protect the machines, you complete the event. Anyways, long story short, you get a lot of really cool stuff. One thing I did notice was the water was hard to keep up, because if you don't drink purified water, you get rads, or you get sickness, or you get something along those lines. If you drink boiled water, you get rads. You drink dirty water, you can get a disease, and you can get rads and diseases from it. Another neat thing is if you lay on the ground on a bed, you can track things from that as well, because it's on the ground instead of on like some wood or something. So it's pretty realistic. There's also a food meter. The food meter was kind of, you eat any food in that game and you pretty much get rads from it. Some of the food will give you health, will give you water, and will give you food. But it seems like, it doesn't really give you a lot at the beginning. That's what I noticed. At the beginning it's very scarce, it's very hard to get going. If you can keep going, it turns into a lot more fun. You start kind of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. You start to see that there's a lot of different things you can do. For instance, what is that? There's something crawling. One of the things you can do is they have dead drops, and these are boxes that drop kind of like in, those first-person shooters. You get dead drops. You can go pick up stuff, or you can change out your character type from a medic to a engineer or something along those lines. Oh, hi. How you doing? Let me get my knife out. Knife. Yeah, let's do this. Come on. Hang on just a second. Gotta concentrate here. But you get these dead drops, you get good loot from that. Other thing is you can loot containers just like in Fallout 4. You can loot dead bodies. You can find just random loot sitting on top of tables. You can find them inside those med boxes. It's a lot like Fallout 4, but they added a lot more graphics, stuff like that. So you find dead drops, so you find plants. There's a lot more plants I noticed in the game. You can loot the dead. You can scrap items. Really cool about that is, as you scrap items, for instance, let's say you scrap a pipe pistol. Well, when you scrap it, it unlocks the ability to make a scope or a hardened receiver, or it gives you more, like kind of like you get in this game. What is it? And here, as you add perks, so you add perks here in this game, and you go to, let's say, where is it at? Come on. Right here, like gun nut. Well, as you add those in, you get access to more gun stuff. And they have armor nut, or whatever they call it, armor or something in here, if I can find it. Is it here? That's robotics. Anyways, in there is, as you break stuff down, you get access to more gun mods, more armor mods. For instance, while I was breaking down, I can't remember if it was armor or weapons, but as I was breaking them down, I got access to boiled. Well, it gave me access to boiled on everything, not just one piece. I was able to put the boiled on every single piece of armor I had. And then from there, you kind of, because the game, it's not very resourceful, especially at the beginning. You just kind of use what you have and try to survive. If you do die, you'll spawn back at a place nearby. It's called a spawn point. I mean, if you got a pipe wrench, you use a pipe wrench. If you have a pipe pistol and you're fighting this big monster, then you fight him until you die, or I believe you can fast travel out. I'm not sure about when you're in attack mode. I know that when you have some griefer that, or troller that likes to come along and troll you, you can fast travel out to get away from them as long as you don't engage. But you can pretty much fight them till you die, and then after you die, you spawn somewhere else. I don't believe you lose anything. If I don't remember correctly, I didn't lose anything when I died. But if somebody else does kill you, you lose all your junk. So that's a bummer. But you have, to go back to the perk system, you have what they call perk points you can add in. Just like in here, you have perks you can add in, and then underneath that, you add in specialties. Well, this one, it's a little bit different because you add in perk points up here, and then as you add perk points in here, you get this deck of cards, and you get more cards as you go through the game, and you can only add one card per special. So you can add a card for strength, you can add a card for perception, but you can only add one card per slot. And with that, you have what they call a group one. So you can take one of those deck of cards and you can add a group item to it. And it means that when you party up with up to 4 other players, whatever one you select a group on, it adds that perk to them as well. So not only do you get the perk yourself, but you actually share that with all the people you party with. They're actually encouraging partying in the game or grouping up in the game, because there's, it's easier to fight off mobs. You get loot. You get somebody's watching one way, you're watching the other way. You get the group perk through the card. One card can say, okay, you get 15% more health from stim packs. Well, if you add that to the group, that means that anybody in your group or party is going to get 15% more health. So yeah, it's interesting that way, because it's I believe random on when you get your cards, so you can end up with cards that other people don't have. They call it sharing, which kind of confused me at first, because I thought I was actually sharing the card as in somebody else can take it, but no, the sharing is actually when you group up with, and you can actually have people take benefit from the one you share. It doesn't give the card away. Partying is good, like I was saying. When you do share the perk card, you get the other 4 people in there get access to it. You can share one deck card, like I was saying. If you're not in a party, be careful not to hit another player. I did notice, and I didn't like this. If you're all circled around one guy and you're sitting there fighting and you're going at it, because it's group, you're sitting in a group and you're attacking this way and you're attacking that way, and
Jumped right into the deep end.
next thing you know, let's say this is my guy right here, and I shoot him. Well, I'm automatically in PvP mode, and I didn't see a way to get out of it, which I didn't like, because if the player does want to engage in PvP mode, or somebody hits you and you're automatically in PvP mode. So I didn't like that, because when you're controlling a game, it's so easy to go off and just attack somebody else by accident. Well, if you don't want to do the PvP side and that person's a PvP nut, you got yourself a fight. So I didn't really like that. But if you are in a party and you get separated from your party and you want to come back to your party, you can actually fast travel to them. I didn't know about this when I was playing, but every other fast travel feature that I found, you had to pay caps for. So I assume you have to pay caps to travel back to one of your party members. Speaking of fast traveling, you can do a fast travel of 4 different kinds. 1, you can fast travel to your party member. 2, you can fast travel to an event in the area without discovering any of the buildings in that area. So if you see an event on the map, you can fast travel to it without ever being there. 3, you can fast travel to a building you've discovered, which as you walk up to a location, it'll put like this blue building on your map. With that blue building, you'll come back and you'll be able to click on it. And like I said, each one of these costs money. Another one is place you discovered, location, party members. Oh, and you can fast travel back to like camps. I believe your camp itself, or the mid camp that you go to when you first leave the vault and go down the road to the Overseer's mid camp. You can fast travel back to your base camp, if I remember correctly as well. So, but like I said, the further away you are, the more caps you're going to spend on it. So if you're all the way across the map, it may cost you 50 caps to travel from one side to the other. I think the most was about 15 caps. Loot. I can't express more to loot. This game it's limited, and like Fallout 4, you go in and loot. Fallout 4, you go in and loot. Well, as you loot, you kind of, it's a tin can, it's metal. Well, I can go scrap stuff at a settlement and get that. Well, in here, in Fallout 76, you see a tin can, you pick that thing up, because you may not get access to more metal. There's no settlement that you can go to get that metal from. You can't go, okay, well, I'm going to hold down the 2 squares and turn on my settlement feature and go and scrap metal, and then I can take that metal with me to somewhere else and make no, you can't do that. So you definitely want to loot. I wouldn't, speaking of metal, I wouldn't necessarily stick on metal and wood. There's a lot of that in the game, like in Fallout 4. You kind of get a feel for what's loot worthy. When you go to make stuff, look at what it wants. There's also that feature where you can put the magnifying glass next to it. With the magnifying glass, it will come up as you go to loot. It'll say, hey, magnifying glass is something you're looking for. You can set it for that. Your stash boxes and scrapping can help you keep weight down. One thing I noticed with weight is that everything weighs a lot less. You can actually carry a lot more. The organizational system on your inventory is spread out a little bit more. Like in here, you go in, you say, okay, I got inventory, weapons, apparel, aid, miscellaneous junk, mods, ammo. With this one, you actually have like 10 of them. There's a lot more to it, which I think is pretty cool. One of the things they did was they put a holotape, or a holo, I think they call it, and it has all your holotapes in there, because that's a main part of your questing, is holotapes and letters you pick up. It used to be before you could read the letter, oh, no big deal. Now, those letters are your side quests. Those holotapes can be your side quest or your main quest. It could be anything, so you definitely want pick up holotapes and letters. That's going to help you out in experiencing more of the game. Stash items way less. So if you walk into a house and you have an item, let's say there's an item over here and there's, you go and pick it up. Well, another player comes along, they're going to be able to pick up their own random generated item as well. If somebody goes into a house and picks up an item, you don't lose access to loot that as well, which is really cool. So if you see somebody rummaging through an area, go in there and rummage with them. You're going to get all the same stuff they will. You'll get the same amount of items. You'll be able to loot those items, even though they've already gone in and looted it for themselves. So it's based on the generation or generating per player. I don't know if you'll both get the same items or if you get separate items. I believe you don't get the same items, but their item will be in that same location for you. And I believe the same amount of items. Watch out for items with diseases. You want to cook those. You can get a disease and the cure for it is hard to make. It's cost a lot of money to buy. And I only got one in my 4 hours of playing, so they're pretty rare. Compared to metal, I think I got 1,000. So you definitely want to watch out for stuff with diseases. Go cook them. Excuse me. The recipes are a lot less. If you pick the flowers, make sure you have different types of water and usually a type of meat or like stuff like gum drop, stuff like that, and you loot. Usually it just takes those 3 to make your item. It doesn't take 15 different items to make a suit that's useless. It is definitely better to craft in this game than to go out and loot. In Fallout 4, I noticed you could go like this weapon I have right now. This weapon is pretty awesome. It doesn't have any ammo. It doesn't take damage, which items in Fallout 76 do. All weapons, armor, they have a damage meter now. So that's another thing on top of the water and the food and the radiation and the health. Now you have damage to your items. So the more you use them, the more damage you get. This item right here, it does targets bleed for 25 points of additional damage. It does a damage 24. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I guarantee you, when I take my pipe pistol and I shoot them for 20, for some reason I don't know what it is, but when I hit them with the knife, it takes a lot more damage than the deliverer does. It does 59 damage, and it also does 25% less action points cost, right? But this one right here, I can keep hitting them all day long, and as long as I have stuff to keep me healthy or keep me healed, I'm good. But anyways, long story short, the item that you pick up, it's going to be great, but usually it's going to have a lot of damage to it. When you craft it, it's clean, it's fresh, and it's ready to use. So you definitely want to scrap and craft. Scrap, craft. That's the main thing in the game. You want to keep scrapping stuff so you get access to more things to make, as well as more mods to put on your items that you make, as well as you want to be able to scrap them to get the stuff from them so you can make stuff. So it's a double purpose when you scrap. And when you make your own items, like I said, they're 100% health. They're good to go. When you pick them up, they could have like 10% left. Use it 10 times, it's gone. You can repair those, by the way. Let's see what else we have here. You definitely want to focus on, from what I found, 5 different things. You want to focus on your weapons, you want to focus on your armor, focus on your food, focus on your healing, and focus on your water. Healing, I mean, is like chems, stuff like that. So you want to focus on those 5 things when you're crafting. Those are highly important. Those are things you're going to need with you to stay alive, doing damage, not receiving as much damage, cleaning out radiation, diseases, poison, whatever you get. There's a good odd of you staying alive a lot longer if you can focus on those 5 things. And the main quest line is great. Loot holotapes, papers, etc. That will provide side missions. They're saying that when you get out of the game to go and actually follow the main quest line and don't branch out too far from there, because what I noticed when I branched out from my quest line, I ran into mobs that took me out. I died. Which, that may be your thing. You may want to go out and just, explore. I know I love to in Fallout 4. I like to go anywhere. I played the quest line, beat it about a month ago. I played it several times before that. Now I'm just wandering in this edition. I'm just kind of wandering around, not really doing much other than just finding quests as I go along and just wandering the whole wasteland, no matter where I go. But they tell you to try to stick to the main quest line. You can go off on a side quest from that, but when you get done, come back. Go to the next area from there. That's going to be the safest and will keep you alive. And you get, the game progresses much smoother that way. If you're into like the extreme, go run off into some faraway land and see if you can take out a big old monster. Once you hit level 5, yes, you are attackable. That's horrible. It kind of freaked me out at first because I didn't know what to expect when somebody shot me. But when somebody attacks you, they do a minimal damage of their attack bonus or their attack ability. So in this one, the damage I do is 24. Well, if I go in and I hit somebody and they don't engage back, I may do 1 damage every time I hit them. And they may have 1,000 damage worth of health. So I'll do 1 attack damage. They'll have and it's going to take me 1,000 hits to actually kill them. Now here's the bad spot about that, is if you go up against 5 different guys, players or non-players, you know, NPCs or actual players, and they take your health down pretty far. Like for instance, if you're fighting mobs and they take your health down to where you have barely any left, I may only have to hit you 10 times. But again, the only thing you lose is your junk. You don't lose anything else. You'll spawn somewhere else, and I cannot remember, but I think you come back with full health. I can't remember that, so don't quote me on that one. I did die only once though, so I didn't really pay attention to it. It just annoyed me because I had 8 ghouls hit me at one time, and when they hit me at one time, they took me out. I was done. Didn't take much. I shot one of them. There were 4 laying on the ground. Next thing I know, there's 4 more coming from the side. So I had 8 of them come at me at once, and all I had was this rinker-dink pipe pistol. And then I tried to pull out a different weapon. Then I tried to pull out the machete I had. Tried everything I could. There was no taking them out. My health was dropping way too fast. And you can't run from those things. They're nuts. Tried shooting limbs so they couldn't run after me. It didn't work. So y'all can check out my previous cast on that. Actually, I recorded the entire experience of coming out of the vault and everything. So if you want to look at that. To avoid a player attacking you. When they, like I said, when they attack you, they do a small amount of damage to you, right? If you don't engage them, they'll continue to do that small amount. And the way to get away from them is you block them. Like if they're just won't stop and they keep doing it, you can go into chat. I didn't actually try this. I don't know exactly how to do it, but you can go in somehow and actually block that player, and they can't attack you anymore. And I believe it only lasts for the session that you're on. So when you log out and come back in, they're not blocked anymore. But at least gets rid of them. And the odds of you seeing them in that game again are like the odds of you seeing a stranger in your city again. Because there's so many people playing. It's a massive map. It's 4 times the size of Fallout 4. So it's a big map. Throw this tidbit in there. It's also 16 times the graphics. And I could definitely tell. It was pretty. Very pretty game. The other way you can do is to get away from somebody who's attacking you don't want to engage. Fast travel. Open your map real quick, hit the 3 lines, the menu button, like this. It doesn't work on here, but the map's not in here anymore, by the way. The map is when you hit this button, the menu button. It pulls that up, and then you have to hit the right button here to pull up your settings. Or left button, I'm sorry. Hit your left button here to pull up your settings. And then from there, you can get to this menu. But to get to your map, you have to hit the menu button. And from there, you can click on any spot. You can find an event. You can find a place you've been already. You can find a party member that you're nearby. It can get you next to your guys. They try to attack you then. Well, you're 4 against 1. What are you going to do, buddy? You take them out. You know, I mean, if they're that eager and that adamant, or you can actually, as long as you're within close proximity, you can do voice over chat and say, hey, party, I got a guy attacking me. Y'all want to have some fun? They can come in and start going at it. Y'all can just like, bam, 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 you know, and take them out. So it's, you know, there's fun, and there's, you know, the grind of it. There is a little bit of a grind, like I said, trying to manage all those different levels. The main thing I liked about it was it was a new experience. It was online. I thought I wouldn't like that, but I actually think it's kind of cool having other people that are on there that are real. Sometimes you get lonely when you're playing Fallout 4. You're like, I've been playing this. Let me get off here and go on Battlefield, or let me get off here and go on Call of Duty. I want to kill some real people. Well, in this game, you don't have to do that. You get your Fallout with that, so you can play longer, right? Agreed. So then, the other thing I liked about it was that the game itself is, when it's in the year 76, it's 2076 instead of 2200. So you're at the 76th year from the nukes to the 200th year of the nukes. So you actually get to go through and experience a lot of things that are prettier. They haven't been as damaged. In West Virginia, apparently, is it Boston? Is Fallout 4? I think Fallout 4 was Boston. Anyways, West Virginia didn't get hit as bad from the nuke blast. So it's got some prettier plants. The items are nicer looking. It's shinier silver. The lights are a little bit brighter. Things, they just don't look as grungy and dirty. It actually looks a lot prettier. There was the thing about water. It looked more beautiful. The splashing, the lighting technology was much neater. Like, for instance, I walked up to this logger. It was a robot. He had a yellow thing spinning on his head. It was really neat because you could actually see exactly a line, almost like a radiation symbol. You could actually see a line going down and going across and spinning around. So that was pretty neat to see. Your Pip-Boy, I was afraid that if you turn your Pip-Boy on and you look at another character, that it was going to shine this big light around you. Hey, I'm here, it's dark, come attack me. No, that's actually not the case. There's this little bitty line in front of you. You can see the Pip-Boy lit up, don't get me wrong, but you have to be facing the player's direction. But it's just this little spot in front of you. Now, this is when you're looking at somebody else, not your own. But when you're looking at somebody else, it's just a little bitty spot in front of them that lights up. So it's not very visible as long as you're not too close to somebody that's wanting to PvP. Now, when you turn your Pip-Boy on, it's actually set like this one. My Pip-Boy is white. So if you change the color of it, if I'm not mistaken, it changes the color of the Pip-Boy in the game. With this one, and this may change later on, it's green. And I couldn't find a way to change the color. For instance, you come in here and you hit, options menu, hit settings, and you go into, I think it's display. You can change your HUD opacity and color. Right? Well, I changed mine to white. So now when I turn my Pip-Boy light on, it's white, And if you change it to a different color, it illuminates a different color. But this game is pretty much, it's like a green, like you would see from the default Fallout 4 Pip-Boy. It's pure green. Other thing I noticed was the textures, everything swayed back and forth. The trees, the grass. There are some different mobs in there. It's pretty cool. They have some of the old ones, but they have some new ones, some really annoying ones. There's a hairless squirrel, I believe it is, or a porcupine or something. It's just all skin. Looks kind of funny. They're hard to catch, by the way. There was the roads, the way the pavement is designed, the buckling, the cracking, the sticking up, all it. It's all real pretty. The reflection of the lighting is really pretty. At night, when you go under a bridge, it's actually dark. You have to turn your Pip-Boy on to see. Whereas in this game, you really don't. I mean, you can still kind of see in the dark. This one, you get in a dark area and you cannot see. It's like you're looking at a black screen, basically, except for what's further in front of you. So, just to give you a hint, when you do go down that road, you're going to hit a bridge that has holes in it. It's going to drop you in the water. Right before you hit the first overseers from coming out of the vault, right before you hit her camp or her stash or whatever, there's a bridge with an overpass hang coming, and you want to make sure you turn your Pip-Boy on if it's nighttime, because if you don't, there's about 2 holes in there you can fall through into the water, which will give you radiation. And trust me, you don't want radiation that early. Other than that, I have a list of this guy, Justin Dodd, with Inverse.com. He actually came up with a really cool list, and I'd like to show that to you. Oh, it's not how I wanted it to display. There was one, it was really cool. It was, that's my phone going off. Nah. One was, it's the 9th Fallout game in the franchise. Cool. It's a prequel to all the Fallout series. Cool. 76 will feature a beta for select people. We talked about that at the beginning of the video. Right here is the times. You got the 23rd, which was yesterday, 6 to 10. The 27th, Saturday, 4 to 6. These are all Central Standard Time. The 28th, Sunday, from 11 to 1. They did say that they were going to release longer play times after these beta times to allow extended play, because Xbox players are furious. Wait, yeah, furious, yeah. Dude, really? Due to the restricted time allowed to play the game. So, they will release longer play times. Just to give you a heads up, maybe something to look forward to. We will get longer play times to play the game. Yay, can't wait. Not used to this kind of beta play. Usually you, okay, on the 23rd we're releasing beta, get on there and play. When the game comes out on, like I said, on Xbox, it says 13th, not the 14th, at 11 p.m. It did not give a time zone. I'm assuming that's going to be Central Standard Time, because I would assume that Xbox would link to my time on my account. But it could be 10 o'clock Central Standard, 11 o'clock Eastern. Because the times listed for these are 7 to 11 Eastern Time. So I switched them all back for me. But you do get to play more often, so you'll get to have a little more fun with that. Do remember that I believe it is Monday, the 29th, I believe, is when PC and PlayStation 4 will get beta access. I'm curious to see if we'll have cross-platform, like will PC with a mouse and a keyboard be able to play against an Xbox player with a joystick. You know, one of these that are kind of hard to move around. And aim when you have a mouse and a keyboard, which are much more accurate, much easier if you are familiar with them to take out players. It's going to become very difficult if you have an experienced PC person who has a high accuracy DPI mouse and a flawless connection to his keyboard from his computer, and he's playing against somebody with an Xbox that has a joystick. You have two joysticks to move yourself around. I've heard people say, oh, I've been playing the joystick since I was 3 and I'm good and I know what I'm doing. It's, okay, you can say that all you want, but I've gone up against people with joysticks and taken them out almost every time. But I guess it's just in how you play. Maybe there are people that play joysticks that can do better than me on a mouse and a keyboard. But I've been on a mouse and a keyboard pretty much my whole life, so that's my thing. And I don't know. I'm not going to be too fond if they're going to allow PCs to play with PlayStation and play with Xbox One. Now, I assume because I did get the beta access and Xbox was early, they only allow a certain amount of people per world, right? So I'm allowing a certain amount of people per world. Well, I'm pretty sure the world I was in filled up. So unless somebody quits playing or their character gets taken out of that world, then a PC player will not come in there and play. That always is a possibility, but I assume that most people on my world that I'm playing in with my main character are going to be all Xbox. I'm sure a lot of that will be answered later on. I did enjoy the game. I had a lot of fun. I didn't expect it to be that much fun with people online. Yes, there were idiots shooting me. Yes, they were trying to chop my head off with a machete. It was annoying. And they stood there and kept shooting me, and I watched my health not go down. It was quite funny because I was level 6 and he was a level 5. I'm like, man, I'm trying to play this game. We got 4 hours. I don't have time for PvP. I want to experience this game, you know? So anyways, he was trying to take me out, and it was really funny because he had it aimed in and staring at me for like a good 10 seconds, and then he started shooting. It's like, okay. But it was a lot of fun. It was a neat experience. There was a lot of new stuff. Pretty game. But anyways, that's my spill on Fallout 76. So I hope you guys liked it. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream and head back to playing Fallout 4 and talking about that. Y'all have a great night. joeKEE512 signing out.